What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Wednesday night's late night news roundup here on Anfield Agenda. And this video is going to be a little bit different from the norm. Yes, we're going to speak about FSG potentially selling one of their teams. We're going to speak about Olise. We're going to talk about Rodrigo. But to kick us off in this video tonight, I wanted to give you my take on maybe what we can expect from the starting 11 the game against Burnley at the weekend and my thought process behind it. So as we go through this video, you know I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Do let me know in the comment section if you enjoy the video, which I hope you do. Please do hit that like button, and of course we'd love you to subscribe if you haven't done so. So the situation with Alexis McAllister last night got me thinking. Scaloni, the manager, said that he wasn't 100%, but yet played him for the full 90 minutes last night in a game that was a dead rubber for Argentina. So there's two ways to look at this. You can either look at it to say they're invaluable minutes for him, or you can look at it to say, was it unnecessarily long, and will it be detrimental to Liverpool? And I think in the short term, yes, it's detrimental to Liverpool. And here's my thought process. Going into this game at the weekend, I'm now, as a fan, expecting Maka not to start the game, because I think the plan will be to get him sharp and ready for the game against Atletico Madrid on the Wednesday. So for me, going into this game of the weekend, a couple of questions came up in tonight's stream. Do we think Frimpong starts the game? And will Szoboszlai continue at right back? So the reason I don't think either of those things are going to happen is because, for me, Maka is probably going to get 20 at the end of the game and be ready for Wednesday. That's my thought process there. And the knock-on effect from that would be, I would expect the midfield to be a combination of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Wirtz or Jones. For various different reasons. Obviously, you know, Wirtz, big money signing, still getting the grips in the league, but also had some European games that wasn't travelling too much. Szoboszlai probably been our best player so far this season, and it would be very unfair not to play him. But the reason I don't think he plays at right back is for the very reason I've just said with McAllister. If we take McAllister out of the midfield, then my midfield choice there would be Gravenberch, Wirtz and Szoboszlai. But the manager may look at it and think Curtis Jones, of course, having not had an international call-up, maybe is fresher and ready to go. So that brings us back to then the conversation about Frimpong at right back. And I don't think he'll be ready to start the game. Connor Bradley has been playing for us before the break. And Frimpong, well, he hasn't been out for a long time, still been out for a significant amount of time. So my best guess at this will be that we'll see Bradley start at right back, Frimpong again maybe get the last 20-25, whether it be as a right back or maybe as a replacement for Salah to give him a rest. And then I would expect Frimpong and McAllister to be in the starting 11 for the game coming up against Atletico. So that's my take on it, but I'd love to know yours. And again, thank you for humouring me on this one. It's just something that I wanted to discuss at the start of the video. And also, we've been told to expect Giovanni Leone's first start for Liverpool to come in the League Cup game against Southampton at Anfield in about, well, a week and just under 2 weeks' time. Right, let's get stuck into other parts of the news. And I wanted to speak about Michael Olise. So I'm sure you're aware there's been plenty of Michael Olise talk about Liverpool and other clubs over the last week or two. It started off with the Bayern Space account talking about a release clause and when that becomes active. But another report today came out that LFC Transfer Room posted crediting at CMOFFIZIELL as the source, saying Bayern Munich can no longer ignore the developments on the transfer market regarding their winger Michael Olise. Offers in the region of about 120 to 130 million pound from top clubs such as Liverpool, Manchester City or Paris Saint-Germain would not come as a surprise. So this sparked a little bit of a conversation and a debate in tonight's late night agenda, where we were trying to make a case of who would be that long-term replacement. And it came down to a couple of things. We ran a poll to ask, would you like Michael Olise, Rodrigo Goes of Real Madrid, or somebody else? And overwhelmingly, the votes cast were in favour of Michael Olise. I think it was in and around 80% of the people that voted. So for me, in 2 years, Olise be 25. Next year would be ideal to bring him in, if possible, to then have a year's transition between him and Salah. So that's what I'd be looking to do, and I was very happy to see that people went with Olise. But let me know your thoughts on it. And do you think that price tag there of maybe 120 to 130 million pound is a little bit on the high side, or is it what you have to pay for somebody maybe who'd be a difference maker? Now, FSG, you probably panicked a little bit, right, when you seen tonight's thumbnail, which is why I made it clear that we had to put the Pittsburgh Penguins logo on it as well, because I didn't want you thinking we were trying to say FSG were thinking of selling Liverpool. But they are thinking of selling the Pittsburgh Penguins, and what knock-on effect that might have to Liverpool, we'll discuss in a second. So this piece I'd seen in the Echo said, Liverpool's owners, Fenway Sports Group, are said to be in talks over the proposed sale of National Hockey League side Pittsburgh Penguins. Goes on to say that FSG could almost double their investment, having bought them for $650 million, and they could probably now get something close to $1.75 billion for them if they sold up. So it got me thinking, that's a good thing for them. They make a bit of money. But also, maybe it's a good thing for us because it at least takes away another brain drain from Liverpool's owners, whether it be the talent to run these places or whether it be a distraction. I think it can only be a good thing for us if they do sell off one of the NHL teams and maybe finally get around to buying that second club or the multi-club model and start that process. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was an important talking point, and I'd like to know what you guys think of it, or do you think maybe it won't make any difference to life at Liverpool? Either way, really interested to know your thoughts. Now, Rodrigo, we mentioned Michael Olise. Let's finish up with a little bit here about Rodrigo Goes. So Team Talk reckon that the Brazilian is still mindful of his future at Real Madrid and could even seek a move in the January window if he doesn't get enough game time. I'm unsure. Every time I hear him talk about Real Madrid and even the possibility of leaving, it's almost like he's saying it with a heavy heart and he doesn't really want to go and he's not fully committed to it. I would much rather have Olise as an option, even if it was a bit more expensive than Rodrigo. It also goes on to say in this piece that Rodrigo thus far has alternated starts with his Brazil teammate Vinicius Jr., and his struggles for minutes under ex-Liverpool player Xabi Alonso has seen plenty of scrutiny since the Spaniard was appointed ahead of the Club World Cup. So again, still seems unsettled there. It just never felt like a player and a deal that Liverpool would do. We had been linked to him in the January transfer window, even at the end of it as a potential last-minute acquisition if we couldn't get Isak. But on this one, I just don't think it's a deal that Liverpool will ever do for Rodrigo. I think the overall package there and the headache of bringing in another player or dealing with Madrid, I just think we'd be better off moving for Olise in the longer term. He'd be a little bit younger and most importantly, Premier League proven. And I don't think we can just gloss over that one here because I think it was a really brave move for Michael Olise to go from Palace to the Bundesliga because it's a top league with a good set of players around him. But it also took him out of his comfort zone. And that meant a lot to me to think, right, he wants to challenge himself. So if he wants to come back in and have unfinished business in the Prem, I'd be a very happy Liverpool fan if he did become a Liverpool player. So that's where we're at tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've probably seen the news about David Koo earlier on as well. He was charged today with the police for something that, well, I don't really like discussing. I mentioned it earlier on, but if you're more interested in it yourself, it's on Sky Sports and everywhere else. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be back and we can finally start to really then look ahead. Great to see Isak in training today. He'll meet the majority of his Liverpool teammates tomorrow as they're all back. And then we can finally look ahead to the game against Burnley on Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate your time as always, folks, and look forward to reading your comments. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.